most syndicalist commune. We take it in turns to act as a sort of executive officer for the week.
Yes.
But all the decisions of that officer have to be ratified at a special bi-weekly meeting.
Yes, I see.
By a simple majority in the case of purely internal affairs.
Be quiet.
But by a 2/3 majority in the case of more
Be quiet. I order you to be quiet. Look, you stupid bastard, you've got no arms left. Yes, I have. Look. Just a flesh wound.
I don't believe I've seen such a display of courage, skill, nerve, grace, stupidity.
I'll do you for that. Oh, what? Come here. What are you going to do, bleed on me? I'm invincible. You're a loony. The Black Knight always triumphs.
Welcome all, and it is that time for Roundtable Live here at Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. Be rolling on till 4 a.m. in the morning Eastern Time. New ideas, different hosts every night, different subjects every night. You never know what's going to happen right here at the Roundtable Live. King Arthur has nothing on us. We're going round and round.
Welcome to Wild at Heart Roundtable. This is Noreen Helphand, and this is a different room for me to broadcast on, so I hope I'm not echoing too much. But welcome to my show, and I'm broadcasting to you live from Southern California, where it is 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And for my show on the Revolution.radio schedule for Studio A, Wild at Heart is at the top of the list at a 12 a.m. midnight. Oh, I'm not going to answer myself. That's really weird. Somebody always has to call me at this time. Always. And so Eastern Standard Time, that would be about 12 midnight. And that's how that goes. So anyway, well, this is Revolution.radio, and it's still linked up to freedomslips.com. So if you want to support the station, donate money. And that's really the best way to support the station, because you could actually donate money to buy products. And that's another way to do it. Hi. That's another way to do it. You know, you can, well, what it is when you donate money, you could get something for your donation, like a non-GMO heirloom seed packet. And you could choose a size. You could have a small garden, medium, or a large one. You know, there's specials like that if you look on the site support button. And so there you go. That's pretty, you know, there's that. Go in the Zazzle store. You can get items that say Revolution Radio on it. And what else? There's other things you can get. I think there's wood boxes made by Mike Ringley, the station owner. Stuff like that. It's pretty cool. But anyway, you guys, I have to say I am like styling, because I'm at one of my favorite places in the world. You know, I'm like near the beach. I'm in Huntington Beach right now, and I'm close to the beach. You know, but I'm not at the beach now because it's evening. So I'm actually, you know, in a household. But it's really nice here. You know, you get an ocean breeze, and it's just really nice. So somebody's messaging me, but I want to, there are some things I'd like to talk about, but first I do want to say hello to Bruce McDonald, who has been very, thank you. He has been very generous with his time and support coming on air with me. How are you?
I'm good, Noreen, thanks. And thanks for the opportunity from breaking away from CAD drawings on how to install a tailgate on the service bus of a custom pickup truck.
What is that about?
Oh, it's just exactly what I said. Yeah. How to install a tailgate.
Working on it. Wow.
Yeah.
I have to say, I know the listeners can't see, but Bruce has a really cool new profile pic. And is that taken inside your office, by the way? Because I see some kind of like apparatuses in the back.
Yeah, that's the ceiling. That's but I'm gonna do a wood ceiling, like just sort of a flat wood ceiling. So that's gonna kind of be like a hidden attic space. Yeah, I think I took that last week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, after I shaved. I don't
and
shave
this is
every
part
day.
of the main house, or this is something?
Yeah, this is the front house, the most unfinished one. The first one is the most unfinished.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you want to say hi or no? Okay. Thanks for that. The what? Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I gotta start this show by saying that I've been through quite an ordeal the last week or 2 weeks actually, and I think a lot of my friends that are listening know, but basically what's going on is I don't have internet right now, so I'm actually using Dar's internet here in near the beach where she lives, and such a long convoluted. Well, it's not convoluted. It is convoluted. It's kind of a long story about how this all happened. Uh, and I'm stuck with the probability of getting very slow internet, but at least it's something I can work with. But I'm being told is not very good. It's I'm used to fast internet or some fairly fast. I mean, not like too fast, but I'm used to having normative internet access like anybody else. Somebody's trying to call. Oh no, I don't want to take anybody right now. Okay. I think that's what was going on. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, it's been a nightmare for me, and I don't think I'm the only one. I think I think there's other people basically that are going through something like what I'm going through. A lot of people change companies. That's not exactly like out of the ordinary to do, but but the problem with it is that then you get confronted with different issues, and basically right now I'm just I'm trying to get away from the 5G world, which is encroaching anyway. And to those of you that know my situation, I'm not ignorant. I know it's coming, but I'm being honest. When I had it in my house, it was literally making me ill. Okay, this is not in my head. And no matter what I did, it was, I won't go into it right now, but it just was a very difficult situation for me. And I had to pull the plug on everything. So now I'm confronted with a situation of going back to a slower internet than what I ever had. And I think it's 1 megabyte. Now, Bruce, 1 megabyte is pretty damn slow. Okay. I don't know what you know about this stuff. I don't know a lot, and I'm depending on the
more than any reasonable human being should know because of that contract I did at the provisioning software hardware place in Waterloo. I know everything there is to know about networking. It's a whole language. 1 megabit is not that fast at all. That fast at all.
I know it's not, but let me ask. Okay. No, I know, because you're talking about a speed of what we were used to, say, right when the internet came about. So, pretty.
Yeah, and that I don't understand what you're telling me here. I don't understand why they gave you a 5G modem to service a 1 megabit account.
No. This is no. This is Spectrum, Time Warner Spectrum. They gave me 5G. Okay. But I didn't want it anymore. And now I'm confronted with having to revert back to another company that can only give me 1 megabyte. That's all that's in my area.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So, the thing is that we don't have a lot of choices, right? This is part of the problem, right? A lack of choice, literally. Like the companies want to control your lives. They're not giving you choices anymore. You have to accept whatever they give you. This is kind of basically what it's come down to. And, so basically I can't do anything about it. But the question that I do have, though, is would I be able to see my friend told me I could still download things, even if it's very slow. So I'm like, okay, as long as I could do some downloads, I don't know.
It's 1/10. So if you have one megabit, Okay, so there's 1,000 kilobytes in a megabyte, but in the digital world we're talking bits. So 1 megabit is 1,000 kilobits, but your actual download speed is 1/10 of that. So you're going to be downloading at about 100 kilobytes per second. So I mean that's fast enough for Netflix. That's fast enough for most stuff. It's just if you're a heavy downloader, like a person who works remotely and you have to download code bases that are like millions of lines of code, like, then yeah, you need something faster. But most people don't need anything that fast.
Well, you know what, Bruce? This is a conflicting messages I'm getting from people. Because I'm not a person, I'm not a gamer. I really don't need fast internet. I mean, I love it like anybody. But my point is if I go back to 1 megabyte, because I don't want 5G in my home, period. I know it's coming around me. Okay, I get it. But my point is, I don't want it right now in my house. So if I revert back to the other company that's going to give me 1 megabyte, look, as long as I could download anything, even if it takes twice as long as what I'm used to, that's fine with me. But people are telling me, well, I may not be able to watch YouTube. I'm like, well, I could watch it off my phone. It's not the end of the world for me. But you're now telling me I might be able to watch Netflix, which tells me I might be able to watch YouTube.
Yeah. What res do you like to watch YouTube at? Like, because I'm on a data plan, I set all my. I usually just listen to podcasts, but a lot of them are on YouTube. But I set them all to 144p, the lowest resolution, and that's because I get my internet like a data plan. Like, imagine if all your internet was coming through your cell phone, how cautious you would be about what you watch, right? Mm-hmm. But if you want to go like 720p on YouTube, or God forbid 1080, you would need more than 1 megabit.
Okay, but if I do this off my phone, then I might be okay. Like if I sync my phone to my, internet with, my computer, then I think I'm okay. I'm not a very technical person, so forgive me if I sound really ignorant, but it's just, I'm trying to understand what's going on. And like I said, for me, the main thing is I'm able to do anything at all, like Skype. Like if I could get Skype, if I can get the 1 megabyte and do Skype like I'm doing now, I'm okay.
Yeah, you'll be fine. Like I operate at most times with less than 1 megabit up here on the mountain. Okay. Sometimes if like in the middle of the night at 3 a.m, it'll be a bit quicker. I've seen it go up to 300 or 400, but most times I'm operating at about 67 kilobits per second, and I can run. You hear my shows. I don't have any problems anymore. I can watch Netflix on low res. I set it to low res. And I watch YouTube at 144, and everything's good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, again, as I was saying,
can I ask some questions?
Sure, go for it. Yeah.
Okay, so you brought a 5G modem in, so you're getting the 5G frequency.
Not now. I cut everything out. It's
understood.
Done. Yeah.
Understood.
Mm-hmm.
You felt ill.
Yeah.
Anyone else in the house you had the modem in?
No. But that's the thing that Dart and other people are telling me, that everybody's body is different. See, this is weird. Like I have a friend who cannot use a microwave. If I have to, I can use a microwave. I would be okay. But she really can't. So everybody's bodily reactions to all these different frequencies are going to vary somewhat. I don't know. That's all I can tell you. Mm-hmm. We don't know the science behind it just yet. Let's just put it that way. I mean, somebody might. I don't know, but... Oh, yeah, there are people that are sensitive to this. There people that can't even use cell phones, some people. So I can, but I couldn't stand the 5G. I'll tell you the symptoms I was having, okay, to the listeners. I was having headaches, eye aches, throbbing in my lymph nodes, electricity going all through my limbs, burning sensations, palpitations, aches in my back, aches in my body that I don't usually have at all. I'm not kidding you. It was creepy. Yeah. And, the other thing too, Bruce, is here's a creepier thing. That modem, it's a modem router combined, okay? That thing was so friggin' creepy that even though I disabled, I went on, Nick helped me and Ryan helped me. Sorry, different people, Rectify, Nick, and people helped me to get on the ISP page to disable. So I knew how to do it. Disable 5G, disable 2.4 gigahertz. I mean, I did everything. Then I would call the company and go, I still don't feel right. Am I like plugged in? And then sometimes the technician would say, and I'm not blaming the technicians. They're just employees. Okay, this is besides the point. But they would tell me, no, you're still plugged in. I'm like, what? I just disabled. Or they'd be like, no, you're not. And I'm like, never. Whatever they would say, I would still feel something's wrong. Then it got to the point where not just every night, but for continual days, a few days, I would just like have the power source unplugged and still not feeling good. So finally, I think it was Dar told me, she was telling me she saw a video where a technician was talking about the dangers of 5G and said that you can what do you call it? You can't always quote unplug the power source, because what happens is there's a battery that will automatically kick in within the device, even if it's not plugged in. Okay, so I think it was last night or the night before, I finally unhooked the main port, finally, whatever. Okay, but then I thought, what's wrong? And finally, because I was still feeling the weird things, and then Dara told me, you gotta move that thing out of your house because it probably has a battery that kicked in, you disconnected. And guess what happened? Exactly that happened. I took the router out into the patio, came back in, and I felt fine for hours. The only thing I will say is I went into a couple rooms where there was still some residual energy and I felt crappy again, but that energy dissipated. And then I came back to the main room and I was fine. What was weird about it was, the fact that I had to unplug everything, and then, it was really strange. And, like I said, that device has a battery that kicks in by itself. That's creepy, don't you think? I think it's very creepy that you cannot shut some of this stuff off. That was the most weirdest, I will tell you, that was the strangest experience. So anyway, where I'm at now is I'm going to cancel them and then reinstate the 1 megabyte internet, because I tried to get around it. I tried to look at satellite as a replacement. It just didn't seem feasible or good, whatever, expensive too, contractually and everything. So anyway,
that's some straight up horror movie stuff, man.
Oh, it is. It really is. Yeah. I know. It is. It truly is. And your dogs agree. Oh my God. See?
Something's in trouble. I would not want to be at the other end of that bark.
Uh-oh. What, are they catching a bird or something?
Well, first off, there's only one of them unleashed. You can't have both of them unleashed at the same time. They pack up. Another lesson in the Idiot's Guide to Going Back to Nature, which I plan to write one day. I don't want to alarm you, but just before you called me on the roundtable, I saw a cockroach in my house the size of a Tokyo condominium. Is it literally the biggest cockroach? I think it was a cockroach. There's either that or some antediluvian creature from the dinosaur era or something.
Really?
Yeah, it went under the sofa. I'm afraid to move the sofa. I'm kind of punking out on this big time.
Why don't you have your dog in there with you for protection?
That's pure protein for them. They'll probably eat an insect. Yeah, I might do it that way. But if it's a fast cockroach, it's about 5 inches big, 5 inches long. Well, am I being dramatic there? No, maybe 4. But I mean, it's the biggest thing I've ever seen. When I first saw it, I thought it was a small rat or a big mouse.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, maybe the creatures in your area. No, I would think that's normative for where you live.
Yeah, I see one of these big ones. I think they're called Brazilian cockroaches. Anybody listening right now, just Google Brazilian cockroach if you want to know what I'm dealing with here on a Monday night. And And you don't see a lot of them, like just very, very once in a while kind of thing. And I think this is the second or third one I've seen in a year. So they're pretty rare. Like it's much more common to see a hummingbird. But they are here. But they live like right in, they're one of the few cockroaches that can survive right in the jungle. They eat a lot of funguses under tree barks and stuff like that. And they're loud. Like when it's not, you know how insects are generally silent? You see them, you don't hear them per se. These things are loud. It's like a little train going across the floor.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's quite something. Quite something.
Oh, Rectify corrected me. I kept saying megabyte. That's not the right term. He said it's 1 megabit.
He is correct.
Yeah.
I believe,
well,
yes.
My mistake.
He would be a good guy to bring into the modem conversation.
If he wants to. If he wants to.
Well, sorry for your troubles, man.
Oh, that's okay. Thank you. I'm eating a cherry.
That sounds lovely.
Well, we got these at Mother's Market, so they were really good. But, you know, I have to say, the last time I was up here in her apartment, there wasn't all this construction. I mean, there's been construction going on, but to the degree, I will have to say that I was surprised coming up here, because the last time I was in this apartment was a few months ago or more, something like that, and what do you call it? The neighbors, the building next door, the McMansion, condo home, whatever, coming up was still, it had its, what do you call those things? The skeleton, what is that called when you're building the base, or it was still being built. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so the wood, and all that stuff. So, but now that's all like, everything's walled, Oh, I think Rectify does want to come in off the home. So everything's walled, and it's just a humongous building, and it's just not very attractive. This used to be a very charming, I remember being up in this apartment a year ago. It was so charming. When Angela and everybody was here, it was like the surroundings were charming, and now they're just overbuilding everything. So it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I mean, this is, you guys, to the listeners, this is a blight on the environment. I mean, this is just a sample of what's going on in so many places. Hey, Rectify, how are you?
Hey, good. I think you're talking foundation and the frame.
That's it. Well, I said foundation, but the frame, that was, yeah, exactly. You should see it, Rectify, because you were here last time, and, back at that time, they were still raising the frame and all that. And now it's like, I mean, it's not completed, but it's really built up, and it's just...
And it's blocking the view of the ocean, which is a bummer,
Horrible.
It's like the neighbors don't even have a say. Like, they can sit there and build a 3-story house where there used to be a 1-story right next to you and block your view.
Exactly. Unbelievable. And remember, behind, it was more like sparse. You had your stuff in the alley. Now it's like kind of built up back there too. I was like, no way.
Yeah, it's getting bad everywhere. We're getting stacked up. But I wanted to mention, about you don't want 1 megabit per second. You're not going to even be able to do a show. Or watch
come on. 1 megabit is fine for a show.
Really? Even a $10? I don't know.
I do it. That's gonna work. Do it every day.
I think you have better than 1 megabit a second, Bruce.
At times.
Go to Bing.com and type in speed test and give me a result.
Okay, all right. Well, when I fire up the VPN, it does clock me at anywhere from 2.5 to 4 megabits per second.
See?
Yeah. But every time I don't know if it's the sites I'm downloading from, like Open Load Movies and stuff, but hey, you know what I want from you? Off air one time, Rectify. I need a tutorial on that Kodi thing that's on Linux and Mac and Windows, the TV thing.
No problem.
Yeah, because I downloaded it, but it's beyond my addled mind at 51.
I need some add-ons to put in. It's a media center, so I got to show you how to make it work.
Does it pipe everything through at high res, or can I choose the low res channels? I like to watch.
You can choose.
Yeah, so I don't like to go above like 240p. Like even when I want, or Netflix, the lowest you can get it down to is about 360. But you get up to 720 or 1080, I mean, forget about it. You're just chewing megabytes up. It's crazy.
Right. Yeah, I don't go there either. It's not even worth it. I mean, there's not a real big difference as far as the visuals go. I mean, I'm getting old anyways. Like, if I'm going to watch TV, unless I'm throwing on glasses, I'm not going to tell the difference.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
But as far as your modem, Noreen, did you ever contact Time Warner, which is a great name, by the way? They're warning us of time. But did you ever contact them and see if you could not get a third-party modem and use it?
Third party? No. I mean, I didn't even know that. See, this is all new stuff for me. I am like not a person that would know anything about that. But no, I haven't.
That's what you need to do, because their speeds are the best in your area, right? Cable. And that's what you had before, or actually you had AT&T, which is about to buy off Time Warner. That's the rumor. But if you can go with a third-party modem and your own third-party router, you can buy a router without 5G in it.
Yeah, but the thing is, I went to Fry's and I got a router, and then the installer said, no, we can't use it, whatever. I don't, the problem, you guys, is I don't know what to do. I mean, I'm hearing all these things, and I'm not saying they're not true, but I don't know what to do.
Is your circuit still set up? Are you still live? Okay.
Yeah. Well,
maybe we should meet up tomorrow, and I can come take a trip with you to Fry's. What I need you to do though is give a call to Time Warner and ask them. Say, hey, I need to go to Fry's to buy my own modem. Which one is compatible with you guys?
Well, wait a minute. Rectify. Why don't we do this? I should go get you tomorrow. This might be after. Like, are you available? We're talking about weird stuff on air. Are you available in the afternoon? Because I got to
play it by ear because I'm actually kind of on call tomorrow.
Okay. Well, then maybe we could do it Wednesday. Is that okay?
Yeah. We'll talk tomorrow, definitely. But I need that information.
What I need from you is when I pick you up, I want you to do the talking to these people. You know what I'm saying?
They don't even talk to me though. They always want identification, verification, and all that before they even open their mouth. And then you're talking to a tier 1 tech who's just reading a flow chart. It's like. But yeah, like in other words, if I'm not a customer, they're not going to give me a time of day. They want my address, my phone number, my account number.
I think it's better. No, what I'm saying is instead of me, I just hand the phone over to you. That's all. I think that would work better. Or you could stand next to me. How's this? Why don't you coach me while I'm on the phone? Because I think that's better. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, that's what I mean. Okay. Right.
Or I'll do some research tonight. I haven't been in the field in a while, but I'll see what Time Warner accepts as a third party. For all I know, the tyranny's gotten to the extent that they're forcefully, providing only their hardware now.
I think that's what I was told in so many words. Don't look again. You might be able to get more information and extract more out of them than me. But as I recall, I think that's what it might be.
We can do a 3-way call. How about that?
Yeah. Oh God. Okay. Yeah.
That would work. All right.
Yeah.
You don't want 1 megabit per second though. That's you're gonna be pulling your hair out. That's double what we had in dial-up in the 90s.
Oh, I know.
Bruce?
Yeah.
How's it going, man?
I'm really good. Thanks for asking, Rectify. Yeah, pretty good indeed, man.
Yeah, all this boring tech talk.
No, we need to educate the audience.
Yeah, I clean my server with a rag like Hillary. My Exchange server.
People keep calling me. They can't take calls. I can call them. As I see. So, the weather was really pretty here in Huntington Beach. How about where you're at, Rectify?
Let me look. We got Coastal Eddy coming in yet? Our June gloom?
Well, today was not. Today was nice.
Yeah, it's actually pretty clear out still.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday we had some fog creeping in.
Yeah.
That's normal though. What do they call that? Coastal. I forget. I know it is June gloom and.
Oh, a marine layer.
Yeah, the marine layer. There you go. Coastal levee.
Well, I hear
Yeah,
that.
so we're only like 20 minutes away from each other right now.
Yeah, I know.
A trip up PCH.
Yeah, I know.
That's Pacific Coast Highway. That's highway number 1 for everyone. Goes up the west, the very, very last road going up the beach of California on the west side. Now.
Yeah, it is. And I saw people doing, what is that? When you have your surfboard and your
parasailing.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people doing that today when I was driving.
It was kind of windy today. It was a good day for it.
Yeah. It was kind of clear, but not clear enough to see Catalina. Not that clear.
Well, according to the curvature algorithms, we shouldn't even be able to ever see that thing.
But we do sometimes.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Here's another thing. When you're driving down the desert, say going to Vegas or something, and you finally come across the mountain ranges, right? Do you start to see the very tip of the mountain ranges first, or do you see the entirety of the mountain?
I think, well, I mean, you see the mountain generally. I mean,
right. You don't just start to see the tip start to show up.
Well, yeah.
The peak. Another thing that makes you go,
I guess. So, Bruce, what's
yes,
new?
ma'am.
Yeah, what's new down in your neck of the woods? Anything new since?
No, I'm just getting psychologically prepared to go back to Canada. You know, have a nice visit with my parents and my son, and yeah, so everything's cool here, man. Yeah, no complaints. Except this giant cockroach, man. Dude's gotta go.
Yeah.
Gotta go, man.
Yeah, so what do you guys think of this whole, I think it's just a bunch of invented BS because Trump is in office about, the border and the children. This is so it's such a setup. I think, I mean, whatever you think of Trump, everyone, this is a big setup. They would not have done this to Obama when he was in office, but they have to pull this stuff with Trump, right?
Well, all this policy, all these holding centers were set up under Obama's administration.
I know.
Bunch of hypocrisy, man. A bunch of hypocrisy.
It is. Bruce, have you heard anything about what's been going on around here with that?
Well, I know that there's a big brouhaha about separating children from families. Our Canadian Prime Minister made a public statement about the human rights of this, what's going on in America. We do the exact same thing in Canada. That is the most hypocritical thing I've seen in this whole issue is our Prime Minister's statement. He will not miss an opportunity to criticize President Trump. Whatever's going on in the great calm, the great hibernation we're in now, I think we're coming to the end of it because I'm seeing some really desperate behavior by the leftist globalists. Really desperate behavior.
It's kind of like this. Here's an analogy. It's like a crackhead mom gets caught, prostituting with her kids left in the car in the middle of summertime. She gets arrested, and they get taken into Child Protective Services, and she bitches and moans that they're not allowed to be in jail with her.
Yeah. Well, don't
you gotta?
Yeah.
You gotta understand, though, the United States has been a kind of a lottery ticket for the world for decades. It's always been a source of hope and inspiration. And that's the saddest thing about the decline of the United States is that there's Even if it wasn't real, even if we were getting played, we believed it. At least I did. I think it was true. I think there was a higher moral standard there for a while, but we just squandered it so quickly. But this idea of getting into this land of milk and honey is so in a part of the mindset of people over here. I got a buddy over here. I'll do a little name drop. I got a buddy over here. His uncle is Jay-Z's driver, as in Jay-Z and Beyonce.
Right, rapper, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I don't know, where was I going with this? What were we talking about again?
They're both self-acclaimed Illuminati, by the way.
Yeah, I know. And there's, yeah, I know. And I can't remember the point I was going to make. What were we talking about? What was my context?
Why people want to come to America, like the total illusion.
Oh, yeah, and it's just like, yeah. Thanks, R3ctify. You re-cued me there. There's just this tremendous sense of pride that he went to where the world goes and he made it, man. And when that guy comes back to visit family, it's like he has a condo in San Jose, and it's like off the rails, those parties. But he's just like, again, and there's a job people do here. There's in where I live in Costa Rica, there's a port called the Port of Limon. It's about 40 minutes from where I live. And they have cruise boats that come in there. And so a lot of the guys around here, not a lot, but one out of every 50 or so you bump into, they worked on the cruise lines for a number of years, and they learned to speak English, and they saw the world. And it's just this whole idea, there's a mythology about America that you can't really understand unless you live outside of America, and not Canada, but really outside, and see how other people regard America. And you're held in high regard, and a lot of people see America as a very generous country, and their response is they're just like, well, Trump's killing the lottery, man. We know there's like a 1 in 100,000 chance we'll ever get in, but we like that we even lived in a world with a 1 in 100,000 chance. So that's what they don't like, and nobody has a leg to stand on. I mean, you overstay a visa in Costa Rica, you'll do a night in jail, and then they drive you to the airport, man. Get the hell out. They do the same thing in Panama. They do it in every country in the world. Every country in the world.
Yeah, that's what happened to Dar. She overstayed and went to jail. I know other people tell me, I'm not sure. This can happen to anybody, is my point, I didn't mean to bring her into this, but it's happened to other people I know too. Over the years, I would hear things like that.
You guys are held to a higher standard than other people.
Yeah.
It's just like, everybody knows the world's a shitty place, and it's like et tu, United States, et tu, Brutus, from Shakespeare's Julius Caesar. You too, like you're going to punk out too. So that's the feeling. It's a kind of a remorse, and things are not getting much better in certain parts of Central America, like Honduras and El Salvador or Guatemala. I don't mean to sound like, how would this sound, crazy, but I think I could go and turn one of those countries around if I were just given a budget and a plan and the ability to run. I mean, they're very small populations. You just got to get something going in a more constructive way. And it's unfortunate that they can't get their act together, that they can't find good leadership, and they can't create a leadership class of people who can cope with this modern world. But they can't. They can't.
Presidente McDonald.
Say what?
Presidente McDonald.
El Presidente. Just call me
Presidente McDonald.
El Jefe. Just El Jefe, the boss. And so, yeah, there's Costa Rica's fairly well run. I got to say, it really is. No beef there. Yeah.
I heard you talking about Nicaragua, and there's a conflict, and we're not hearing anything about it up here in the north.
Nicaragua is off the rails, man. There are cities that barrio by barrio, people are barricading themselves. A barrio is like, I don't know. You guys are from California. You know what a barrio is, right?
That's the ghetto, man.
Yeah, barrio. Yeah,
Una barrio. Una barrio. No, it's just a neighborhood. It's another name for a neighborhood, a barrio, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And
My hood, yeah.
yeah, you're so racist, Noreen.
She can't be racist.
Why? Because I say
I'm kidding. It's a joke. It's a joke. It's just, you know. But they're taking back whole cities, small cities, and the populations are arming themselves. And I mean, it's not sophisticated. They make pipe guns. I should get a few of those up here on the mountain. You can have 3 or 4 pipe guns lying around, and each one has a single shell of a shotgun in it, and you can make them for about $10. But that's what they're fighting with, and makeshift bombs. And, they're going up against Daniel Ortega's forces, Daniel Ortega's bought arms from Russia in the last 5 years. And the Nicaraguan forces have trained with Spetsnaz, the special forces of Russia. So the bravery is unbelievable. They're all heart down here, man. Like, it's so beautiful to see. I mean, the heart can't solve every problem in life, but we all just sort of stand up and take notice when people live purely from the heart. It's like, it's kind of cool, but it's off the rails, man. That's going to spill over. That's not going away.
I'm guessing they're not as programmed as us here. They're not always in front of their TV.
Well, people don't need to wake up in Central America because they never went to sleep. They're just, they live you can't fool people who live in nature. You can't. Nature is like the ginger on your sushi plate. It cleanses your palate. It like wipes away all the bullshit. It's a teacher, it's an instructor, it's an example of how everything in the planet is supposed to run. And people understand this. Even if they can't find the language to wrap around it, they understand this. Everybody knows what right and wrong is. They want us to think that this isn't true anymore in the first world atheistic Richard Dawkins world, that everything is socially conditioned and imprinted on you, and you're taught everything. Bullshit. People are born with certain innate values, and they don't lose them down here. Yeah.
Well, yeah, they talk about generational sin in the Bible, so I can see how genetically people would be innate to repeating the same type of fallacies that their parents did.
I believe, right, I see what you mean, rectify, but I believe that this is more of agenda-driven. In other words, how can I say this? I don't think that in the West we're more, what do you call it? What's the term? It's not like we've been targeted more in a certain way. Every area gets targeted in their own way, okay? So we've been targeted to be with more mind control here. That's all it is. It's not something because, those people are close to nature. Yes, that's because they haven't been forced to be stripped away from it yet. So, of course, they can react more naturally because they haven't been inundated with as much mind control. We have been just literally, it's been thrown at us like constantly over the decades. And I think that's what's going on,
I'm inclined to agree.
They're yeah, that's what's happening. Yeah, that's the sad part, isn't it? I mean, it could happen to them.
Well, perception is reality. So if you're born into a certain perception, that's your reality. It's like you could take an animal out of the zoo, but you can't necessarily take the zoo out of the animal.
Mm-hmm. All right, yeah. Well, but why is it that some places are more targeted first? You always have to think why.
They target the weak.
It's always like some kind of...
The weakest is the easiest to target always. And these people that target the weak are the cowards. And that's why they're cowards, because they target weak. Mm-hmm. And that's why they target weak, because they're cowards. But that's why they're in control. And that's why they seek power, because they're cowards. They've got this insecurity inside them, this hole that they can never fill. So they just keep trying and trying and trying, and it becomes this insatiable greed. And so they create districts of despair. And then they get these districts of despair latched onto their teat with federal benefits and, like food cards and all this welfare and all that. So they become a voter base to keep these same degenerates in power.
Yeah.
Well, that's what's happening with this children on the bus situation and Trump, and all this stuff. And the world is just trying to make people feel guilty and take responsibility for them. It's really a psychotic system, isn't it? I mean, it's psycho.
I'd go
it's
even
like
further.
really.
I'd go even further and say satanic.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Even though they don't know what they're doing, they know what they're doing. You know what I mean? They don't know what they're doing because they're doing it out of God. They're not doing it in God's light. But they know what they're doing as far as harming and hurting and taking advantage and controlling and manipulating and conquering, dividing and conquering. They know exactly what they're doing when they torture and they smirk when they watch people suffer. They know. They laugh in your face when, oh, look at all these retards that just voted for me, behind your back. They'll smile on your face and stab you in the back. And that's what Satanists do.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Oh, man, that's crazy. Yeah, I'm just trying to... I'm in an atmosphere right now where I'm very relaxed in here, but you guys, I have to be honest with you. I'm inside the apartment up here in the back of the house, and it's so nice in here. But when I look outside, no more view, because I remember what it was like before. It's really sad I can't help to say that right now. And only like if you go in about, excuse me, you go in a mile going west from here, and that area, let's see, it's a little bit different. That area has a little bit more protection. Like you can't really feel as crazily, but we are noticing that they're breaking their codes. You know that Rectify? They like downtown Huntington here. They've got rid of the electric chair. That store, it's gone. That store is gone.
Yeah, Laguna Beach. They've been tearing up Laguna Beach too. A lot of historic areas and rebuilding.
Are you kidding me? Oh God! Oh God!
Yep. It's just it's people come in with big money and people need the money, so they sell out. They don't care about honor anymore or integrity of historics or any of that anymore. It's like money, money, money.
Oh my God. Well, you know what, guys? We're going to end up living in a Starbucks, Chase Manhattan, Walgreens world on every corner. It's already here, and it's not going to stop. And this is really hideous. I mean, really.
As long as I got Taco Bell and 7-Eleven, I'm good.
Right on.
Just kidding.
I know, you're joking. I know you are. I know.
The Taco Bell logo, by the way, listeners, if you look at it closely, it's a 666 with the eye of a serpent in the center.
Right on.
You know what, Bruce, you were talking about China, I think, last night. And
China!
They've made inroads into Costa Rica. Well, you know what? Let's just hope that they do not start occupying your mountain. Seriously.
Oh, that would bring some pretty good commerce up here, and I would be all over the Chinese coming. I would open up the first mahjong den on the mountain. That's what I would do.
Wait a minute, Bruce. You got a reserve back there, but listen. If you think like that,
you can't hold back progress, Noreen. You can't hold back progress. It would be a mahjong den.
Even the Chinese got to eat.
That? No, you're joking. You're
Yes,
kidding.
I am.
I know. I was going to say for a moment there, like, what? Yeah, that would be a nightmare. That'd be horrible. I mean, Oh, we got a break, you guys. This is Wild at Heart. I got Bruce and Rectify with me.
Right on.
Right back. Right back. Thanks.
Radio at freedomslips.com, and we'll be right back after this message.
Hey everyone, it's Barbara Jean Lindsay, the Cosmic Oracle. If you have questions about your past lives or future plans, need answers from the cosmos about your love life or career, or just want to keep your finger on the pulse of the planet, check out my show, The Cosmic Oracle, here on Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com.
It is no secret that the so-called mainstream media is best described as controlled propaganda. Countless news stories are either totally ignored or spun with half-truths, and because of this, essential facts and vital information are often compromised. Join Dr. Ott every Friday night on Studio B at 10 p.m. Eastern and learn why The Story Behind the Story was nominated for a Peabody Award in its second year of producing unparalleled broadcasting excellence in 1997. That is, if you really care about learning the truth.
Wadiya will remain a dictatorship. Or be quiet. Why are you guys so anti-dictators? Imagine if America was a dictatorship. You could let 1% of the people have all the nation's wealth. You could help your rich friends get richer by cutting their taxes and bailing them out when they gamble and lose. You could ignore the needs of the poor for healthcare and education. Your media would appear free, but would secretly be controlled by one person and his family. You could wiretap phones. You could torture foreign prisoners. You could have rigged elections. You could lie about why you go to war. You could fill your prisons with one particular racial group, and no one would complain. You could use the media to scare the people into supporting policies that are against their interests.
Tune in Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, for Liberation Nation with Deacon John, where America comes to hear the truth.
I know this is hard for you Americans to imagine, but please try.
The opinions expressed on this radio station, its programs, and its website by the hosts, guests, and call-in listeners or chatters are solely the opinions of the original source who expressed them. They do not necessarily represent the opinions of Revolution Radio and freedomslips.com, its staff, or affiliates. You're listening to Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, 100% listener-supported radio, and now we return you to your host.
Welcome back to Wild at Heart Roundtable, and this is Noreen Helphand, and I'm on the air with Bruce McDonald and Rectify, and I'm so glad they're with me, huh? I'm so glad they're on the air with me now because it's a miracle I'm on the air. I know last week I think Bruce filled in for me, and hopefully next week I can be, but I don't want to say I can promise that, so we'll see. But yeah, it's been kind of crazy. So I'm here, with my friends. So it's like, yeah. But I was just commenting on the crazy. Oh yeah. So Costa Rica, Bruce, what is your prediction? Are the Chinese going to actually invade your mountain or no? It's kind of hard to say.
Come on! Don't even say that out loud.
I'm sorry.
Koreans will beat them.
No, I don't think so. But
well, look, the world is going to go whatever direction the world goes, and I don't get attached to things like that. I think it's a remote probability, at least for now. I don't know, 15, 20 years down the road. I think Costa Rica will fill out a bit. I think it'll double its population in the next decade or so, which is another 5 million people. And I think they're going to be all come from other parts of the world. And I think Costa Rica is going to be an example of a country, and there's a couple others in the Americas, that the multiculturalism that we went through in Canada and the United States is going to be transported to other places. So Costa Rica is Costa Rica is on path to be a multicultural society.
But that's going to happen. It's strange. That's happening globally, except in Asian. Well, okay, I'm speaking in general. A lot of Asian countries are still homogeneous for the most part. I don't know, parts of Africa. It's like they're not in the Middle East. They're not really. See, this whole system, this whole agenda is very strange, right?
It's all Western based, pretty much.
Yeah.
The East has maintained their cultures for the most part. It's the West that we're getting the Neapolitan ice cream mix effect going. Right.
But that's all part of the agenda, so that.
Right. It's all part of cultural Marxism, and it's also part of the Book of the Learned Elders of Zion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
And Karl Marx. Well, I said Marxism, but yeah, I mean, and Rules for Radicals. I mean, it's all in these books. It's basically the democratic agenda of taking over a nation by just conflict and chaos. Integration, and you do it in the name of good. And if you're not going along with our plan, you must be bad. Even though they're the ones that are creating the chaos, but they make it seem like you're a racist or something if you point out the chaos.
Mm-hmm. Did you guys hear what happened to poor Roseanne Barr? I heard an audio clip of her. She was in tears saying, I can't believe I'm being called a racist. I really didn't mean it. I mean, this is insane. And they're going to do her show.
People lost their sense of humor.
They're going to do her show without her. It's going to be called The Connors. I'm like, what? That's insane.
Right. Guess who runs that whole production on that show? The actress Darlene.
Oh.
He's the production manager.
Wow.
Yeah. Shame.
God. I mean, poor Roseanne Barr, she's Jewish too. And I noticed she threw this in, I think, for self-protection. She goes, I was hanging out with my friend who's a rabbi, and I'm thinking, I know why she did it. She did it to let Hollywood know, hey, I'm in good with you guys. What are you doing to me? But they're raking her over the coals. They're making her an example. I mean, they were like, oh man, it's horrible. I think what they're doing to her is wrong.
Yeah, it's blood sport now. No doubt about it, I mean, it's full contact now. Like they're
if the public doesn't see that Roseanne Barr is literally a public example, she's, she might be kind of like a well-off actress or whatever, but you guys, she is an example of public shaming. Totally. I mean, this is completely. Yeah.
Darlene, she's played by Sarah Gilbert. That's the one.
Oh, that's what's her name? Sister, Melissa Gilbert from Little House on the Prairie. Yeah, that's her sister.
Yeah, she's got a part of this whole thing. This whole debacle.
Whatever.
Absolutely.
Whatever. Oh, she's a bitch then.
Ooh.
Right on.
Yep.
Once a month.
She's doing what. I heard she's gay in real life too. Whatever. Not that means one way or the other.
I think she's with. Isn't she with DeGeneres?
I'm
Don't
not sure
quote
about
me
that.
on that. I'm not a big media scout, but let me look at her wiki here. I think she might be with Ellen DeGeneres, actually.
Oh God, really? Oh my God, let me look. Oh jeez. Let's see, Sarah Gilbert.
Sarah Gilbert, Ellen DeGeneres. Let's put that in together. Ellen DeGeneres.
I know, degenerate, really. I see them hanging together.
Yeah, I heard they were together. I heard they had a thing going. I don't know if there's still a thing. But yeah, confirmation that she is the lesbian class of the LGBTQ XYZ ABC 1 2 3.
Militants.
Yeah.
It's the cultural insurgency.
Oh yeah, completely. I mean, God, I can't believe poor Roseanne, what she went through. That's insane. And then now Sarah Gilbert has some hand in this, maybe.
Yeah, she'll be all right. Roseanne will be picked up by somebody. She's got a great character.
Well, no offense to gay people, but I don't even think all gay people respect or like the whole LGBTQ movement. I mean, this is like, really?
Right. This is political. It's nothing to do with what our sexual bias is.
No. LGBTQ is like a friggin' sandwich, right? Like a BLT. BLT, LGBT. Man.
You gotta have avocado on there.
That's right. Where's my pickle? Right. Oh God. If you throw in a pickle, you have to put in other things in there too, right? To make it whatever. But
They want to put a P at the end of this, though. They want pedophilia on there. They're pushing hard for that.
Oh boy, that's gonna be Armageddon. Oh man.
Yeah, they want to legitimize pedophilia. They want to make it okay. I see it more and more and all over the place.
Oh, they absolutely do, man. Their numbers are legion. They're hiding in places we would expect them to be there, but this is the big thing we're up against, and it's the this sort of complete and utter corruption of the human race with these nefarious desires that have been and this has all been cultured. It's been done deliberately, and it's been done for a very specific reason. So, and really, I think to me, it represents people who want to live life just for themselves as like a supernova, a completely egotistical life, and those of us who want to fit into a continuity called the human species, where you're thinking about this generation and the next one. It's really what it comes down to.
It's the gimme some more mentality.
Gimme.
Because I'm gonna die, and I'm gonna take it all with me when I finally do.
You guys, I'm going to call in Rudi Krause. I accompanied him to the Orange County Courthouse for he's a vexatious litigant. He's trying to take some Superior Court judges and, really challenge them on this status. And I went with him to meet Bill Handel and, for a panel. Huh? What? Yeah,
AM 640, baby.
Yeah, Bill Handel, to be honest, he's cool in real life, but he can be kind of nasty on air. But anyway, Rudi is kind of like a unique character. So let me see if I can add him to the call. Hope so.
Yeah, AM 640 is one of our biggest stations down here in Southern California. That's where Coast to Coast AM broadcasts at late nights.
It does. Let me see. Is he picking
Bill
up?
Handels. He's a daytime host there.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, I've met Now I've met those guys. Actually, I met George Norrie, Bill Handel now, and John and Ken, and I'm not sure who else I met. But hey, Rudy,
Yes.
Rudy, this is Rudi
Yes.
Krause. Yes, and you've been on my show before. Welcome.
Hi.
Hi. Did you want to discuss a little bit about your very unique case as being under the state of California? You're a vexatious litigant, and I know you're trying to fight and remove this status. Do you want to maybe update the listeners on that? I know you spoke about it before on air.
Yeah, what I've done is I filed with Chief Justice Sakaui. It did a proof of service on her through the Santa Ana Superior Court, and then did a simultaneous filing against the CJC, the California Judicial Council. They're the governing board of the justice system in the state of California. I directly serve Sakaui, Chief Justice Sakaui, because she's the primary principal defendant. She has strict liability for her vexatious litigant policy usage, which allows the judges to abuse people like me and deprive me of my rights.
Okay, Rudy, you want to remind the audience again what is a vexatious litigant and how many there are in the state of California?
Well, vexatious litigants, there's about 2,000, a little bit more, 2,500 in the state of California. And there are people that are deemed vexatious by the court through some legal action taken. In my case, it was from my baby mama, who did a malicious prosecution. And to prevent further discovery of her wrongdoing, she put a vexatious litigant on me. And that basically puts me in a category of stigmatization. I have to wear the scarlet letter V, and I'm blackballed by the state of California, as it turns out. I'm not supposed to be. I still have the same rights. But in this case, these judges, the OCJ 7 in Orange County, they targeted me as an individual and deprived me of my constitutional rights, mainly First Amendment and 14th Amendment due process of law, timely due process of law.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a really, really big deal because I know what it means not to have rights now. Most of the people, they don't know. 99.99 do not know what it means not to have rights. My rights were taken away from me.
You know, an example... Right. You have no rights, because I remember an example was you were assaulted. I remember that incident. And I think under your status, you really don't receive a lot of assistance from, say, police or other authorities.
The police, actually, the Anaheim police were fantastic. They came 59 times to my cries for help. But the court, they couldn't do anything because the court would not allow me to file an unlawful detainer. And the police would come and they'd respond and they'd say, well, why don't you file an unlawful detainer? And I say, well, I already did. You can evict these people, they say. I say, I can't because the judges, they're not allowing me to file an unlawful detainer to evict the Bellino drug cartel. And as it turns out, Bellino's in jail now. I just got that information. He won't get out till October 5. And he was the subject of all of my problems at that point. And, you know, his drug connection broke my nose. I was trying to stop the drug connection going on in the street. But see, the judges would not allow me to evict Bellino for 16 months. They would not allow me to file.
Right. I remember that. Yeah, that's insane.
And that's the key word, file, because everybody gets to file, Noreen. I mean, if you want to evict someone from your house, you got a tenant. You could just go down to the court. Takes you 5 minutes to file. For me, the judges clandestinely shelved me and put me on the bookshelf and coded me D3 and did not allow me to file for 16 months. Meanwhile, I'm getting beat up and my credit's going down. I'm not getting money because the tenants are non-paying. They're bringing in their squatters, they're heroin users, they're drug addicts, they're smoking meth and speed. There's kids in the house. There's drug paraphernalia all over the place. There's needles. There's glass pipes. It was really an horrendous thing. I didn't sleep for 2 years. I mean, if you could imagine not sleeping for 2 years, or imagine not sleeping for 24 hours. Can you do it? Then imagine not sleeping for 48. How about 72? How about 96 hours? Stay awake for 4 days straight. Stay awake for 5 days straight. Try that. Try stay awake for 120 hours in a row. That was common for me. 24 hours. I just call. I'm on my 48 hours, like that TV show that I like so much. But that was my life. I'm on 48 hours now. I can't go to sleep for 48 hours. I went for an entire 2 years.
Yeah, what you would do is you would go to bed, but you always would watch over your back, and it was all just couldn't.
Yeah, but I would never sleep. I would sleep for 45 seconds many days, and then I'd be on my computer all the time, working on my computer, like Johnny Mnemonic, dialed in, living in the world inside my computer, my 500,000 files on my baby mama case. And then it leads to all this stuff on Marginus, Sanders, Nakamura, Moss, Desari. Now it's Lewis, the string of crooked judges, the CJP, Brooks over there. Now it's up to Sakaui. I mean, it's got to stop at some point, but I'm going to be filing federal against them if I don't get administrative remedy. That's what I'm demanding from the state. I'm demanding Sakaui. I told her, these are the rules of engagement. I demand total state surrender. You're to concede to all my demands. I want replacement value of my house, $800,000, and I want 5 times punitive damage so the judges never do it again. I want the vexatious litigant statute rewritten so that judges can't do what they did to me and deprive people of their rights. And that's
Rectify. I think Rectify has a question. Did you have a question for Rudi?
Yeah, Rudi. I was just curious. When you go and file your paperwork, do you do it in person or do you do it through certified and notarized mail?
No, I do it in person directly. See, my case, I have to file directly with the presiding judge in Orange County, and that's Judge Marginus. So I go to his executive office, and his executive clerk comes out.
It's his house. That's the problem.
Yeah, I go directly to his executive office. I am dealing with the top judges in Orange County. And see, it's a real big deal because Marginus is the primary Orange County defendant. And then it's Sanders who was the presiding judge. And I have them nailed on doing whiteout date forgery. And Supervising Judge Moss has admitted that in a 2-page admissions, and these are my confessions. That's what I call it. His paragraph 8 is just so mind-blowing. Widespread whiteout date forgery. You can't use whiteout to do to change dates and information that they feel is necessary. That leads to bribery. There's probably
Have you approached Sandra Hutchins, our sheriff?
I contacted the sheriffs and they directed me to the attorney general. I contacted Becerra, and Becerra, I'm talking about with full legal dissertation.
Sandra Hutchins, she's about to leave term. She's about to leave office. She's been hated throughout the country because she's a right winger here in a libtard state. But I think if you contacted our sheriff, Sandra Hutchins, my father used to work with her on the beat on the streets. She might be able to help you out, man. Point you in the right direction.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Hutchins, that's a good turn. But I contacted the attorney general. He referred me to the CJP. The CJP, I went back to them for the second time. They gave me a second concealment, a suppression of evidence concealment. See, because dates don't lie. That's why this is such an airtight case and irrefutable because I have the judge's own statements of self-incrimination. It's their signed and sealed orders, their court orders, the date I filed and the date they responded, 171 days too late. They only have within 5 court days to respond, to act upon. And then it's a pattern of judges, and it actually goes back to 2013 with Catherine O'Leary at the appellate level, and she shelves me for 2 years. And that's what started it at the state level. And then it went to the local level with Sanders. Then it continued with Marginus at the local level. And then it goes to Nakamura at the local level, who's under Marginus. And that's on a restraining order request. Could you imagine if you filed a restraining order, and that's like a 24-hour turnaround? It's mandatory. Violence is involved. The guy gives you a concussion. You file a restraining order, and it takes the judge 41 days to respond to your restraining order request to grant you permission to move forward with that. 41 days.
Why are they targeting you, Rudy?
It's political. It's because of what I know. Because of what I know and what I can prove. And see, once my case with my baby mama started getting underway in 2010, and the judges started acting not right, I started including them in my legal dissertations in the next step. And then I would file that, and it'd be 187 pages. And now I'd be talking about Judge Hurwitz and what he's doing. Because you know how to
represent yourself. They feel you as a threat, in other words.
I am a threat to them. Oh, yeah.
Right.
And see, this is really wrong. This is so bad because I lose my rights because they're trying to cover up their illegal actions and their criminal actions now. I mean, if they're concealing whiteout date forgery, that's a big deal. That's concealing, destroying, and planting of evidence in the court record. And then they destroyed the original, my original, but they didn't get my original. I got the penned original. But the one that they fabricated, then they hand that to the clerk of the records. The clerk scans it and then into the record, and then they destroy the hard copy, because that's what they do with all paper now in the court, is they destroy all hard copies. So then the only thing that's supposed to be left is what's in the digitized record. And then that becomes, in my case, it becomes a computer crime because they falsified the court instrument, changed the date, made it appear that they were 2 days timely instead of half a year too late in their response to it. And that was under pressure from the CJP because I'd already filed my complaint against them. And against Marginus in this case. And so what are we going to do? Well, we're going to have to fix the date. Well, okay, give it to Stafford. We'll implement Protocol 66. We'll use whiteout. When in doubt, white it out. And so I catch them. Yeah, but that's what they did. I put political cartoons.
You don't even need whiteout, though. You just hit the edit key and, change a couple numbers.
Well, that's see, in my case, what it was is I had penned my form, and I have a special way of doing my legal briefs. I scan them, I JPEG them, and then I fill them out in the Paint program. It makes it difficult to change them and alter them, and it gives me great control over what I can do graphically and artistically on my legal dissertations, on forms, and
I'm saying that's what they do now. They get rid of the hard copy, and they can digitally alter whenever they need to.
That's exactly what they're doing.
Right.
And everybody in Orange County needs to know what's happening, because if you have $1 million civil litigation, or 10 million, or 50 million, or 100 million, or $1 billion litigation going through Santa Ana Superior Court, you'd want to know if the judges are doing whiteout date forgery. And I got the 2-page admission from Supervising Judge Moss. Look at paragraph 8. Actually, the 2 pages is all about whiteout date forgery. And he says, well, paragraph 8, he says, Moss says, oh, well, thanks a lot, Mr. Krause, for bringing this to our attention. We do plan to re-educate the clerks as to the proper procedure to change information that they feel is necessary.
Nice.
You know, I mean, that's like a confession. That's good enough for a major indictment.
There's some good advice for everybody out there. What we need to do now with technology, we have cell phones with cameras on them. Anytime we come across institutionalized documentation, before we sign it, we need to take a picture of every page.
Yeah, really.
We have a hard copy. Just getting up. I'm getting up to that. It's like I take photographs now of my legal dissertations before I give them to the court, because I can't trust the court, because I know that they got a little. I'm going to do some research and see if they're scanning my records and then denying me with 391.7b, which then allows them to delete my records. You know, I mean, I'm suspicious of that right now, so I've got to go back to the court and do a little investigation, because I asked them to give me a CD version of my records at the court records office, and she looked at me like I was stupid. Like, no, we don't do that. But a friend had told me they'd gotten one, so I've got to go back and investigate that. But I'm getting ready to file another
CD. They should just be able to email it to you. I mean, come on, it's just documentation. It's small data.
See, but because I'm a vexatious litigant, I don't have certain rights and privileges, and so I can't do electronic filings. And I am not allowed to have any help from the self-help desk. You know, you can just go to the self-help desk and you can talk to a lawyer if you want, that they have sitting there waiting for you. But I'm not allowed that as a vexatious litigant. So there's further discrimination by status against me that's directed towards me. And
it's like the Jehovah's Witnesses, man. Like, if you're not kosher with what we're doing, we're going to excommunicate your ass. You know,
well, that's
like,
exactly.
You can't have
you
friends
used the right
anymore.
word. I called it banishment. That's what I put it on like page 264 of my dissertation of Sakaui. I put that Martinus has now banished me from society, and I'm now alienated from society. He's made me homeless. I'm living in my car. Of course, I got a power transformer converter in here, and I got my 3 computers in here. And I've modified my car to be an X car, and I'm going to trademark X as a brand for cars now. And so my mind is still working, and I'm still creative and inventing and putting together all my legal dissertations in here and doing my graphic arts inside my car, which is really quite mind-blowing. And then professionally putting this product out, this legal product, this logistic product, over putting it out and giving it to the court. I mean, they can't even fathom how to do this. I mean, Noreen saw the dissertation. Yeah. She looked at it right there, flipped through it, and it blew her mind. And I'm doing this right here in my car.
Yeah, it's pretty damn good considering. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, plus, you got to avoid the black and whites at night, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, they came by the other night. You know, I'm living in my mom's parking lot over at the La Palma Board and Care, because I need to be by my mom because she's going to be 94, and she's real ill, like real weak and like real bone thin and paper thin, and her skin is like, it's just like so thin. And so I need to be by her, so in case she speaks. And she spoke for the first time in 1 year, and she's talked for 10 minutes, and it made me very happy. I've been very close to my mother, and I want her to live. I said, Mom, you're going to be 94. And she said 100. And so I know that she's thinking in her mind that she's going to make it to 100. Hooray. That's what I'm for. Yep. I'm pushing for it.
Bruce, did you have a question for Rudi about something?
No, I'm good.
Well, hey, listen, I thought we were going to be talking about the formation of the CIA, the Commission for the Investigation of Illegal Interstellar Alien Activity. I mean, it's going right along with what's happening with Space Force. I'm hearing George Norrie talk about it right now with someone, and it looks like that Space Force, Trump's Space Force, has been in operation for quite some time. I mean, years, and now it's just coming to public knowledge. And what the CIA is all about is the ETs that are here on Earth. And I believe now no one can really deny their presence or their existence, and the spaceships, that everyone is seeing now. It's all accelerated, and so we've got an alien threat and an alien agenda that we're dealing with right here, and the CIA is about holding the ETs, the EBs, Enki, criminally responsible for what they're doing here on Earth.
You just went from realistic tyranny to total fantasy, brother.
Well, with Rudi Krause, anything's possible, okay?
I'm a gifted artist, creative, inventive writer, super genius.
Oh my God.
What if I told you the aliens were already here before us?
What, the Anunnaki?
Sure. What do you want to call them? Nephilim? Whatever. Fallen angels?
Yeah. So how does that make that fantasy with me? And
because you said outer space and space this and space that.
Oh, the Space Force?
Yeah.
Don't you know that Trump has a Space Force? Norrie's talking about it right now. He signed it into legislation as Division 6 of the DOD.
George Norrie. So credible.
Do you know who George Norrie is?
Yeah, a lot of people here know. Yeah.
I was
okay.
Actually,
are we calling Norrie a crackpot?
I was really good friends with his co-hosts back in the day, Art Bell, his cousin, Fred Bell. That was a good friend of mine.
So then, okay, I don't understand at this moment.
No, I don't buy into the space stuff. I took 2 years trying to debunk the flat Earth thing, and I couldn't do it.
Debunk the flat Earth thing? Well, that seemed flat Earth. The Earth's not flat, so. But how can you deny space?
There you go, Rectified. He just debunked it.
I'm done.
What are you talking about, man?
That was on a need to know basis. I get it. That was M13. That's on a need to know basis.
Right.
It seems to me that you know all about it.
I'm not going to tell you.
That was pretty good. Yeah, from Total Tyranny. Boy, you really picked it all up. That's for sure. That's exactly what's happened. But they're making this a fascist state. There's no time to watch and wait.
The's a lot of people that are in jail for victimless crimes. No corpus delicti, no body of the crime.
Hey. Don't do the crime if you can't do the time.
Well, there's no crime.
I did no crime. I did no crime. They did the crime.
No,
with me, I opened my mouth. It's probably all goes back to Hot Seat with Wally George and my political opinions on Hot Seat with Wally George.
You were on Wally George's show?
I was his most requested guest, and I bet that's where this all stems from. That's why they targeted me, especially when I did the show on Intifada, because there's that kind of connection going here, but I'm trying not to say it. So
when did Wally pass away? Wasn't it a couple of years ago?
It's like 5 years ago.
Damn, time flies.
Yeah,
he was like what, late 80s, early 90s, hardcore TV.
Yeah, he called it combat TV. In reality,
early Jerry Springer.
Yeah.
Early Jerry Springer. Wally George was the inventor of reality TV. He's the first one that took TV to that point. And then Morton Downey came after that.
Yeah.
Wally thought that he stole his stick and got Channel 2. So there was a little bit of blood there, but Wally hung on for a long time. He's the father of Rebecca De Mornay from Risky Business, Tom Cruise. And I don't know why his daughter didn't like him, but she didn't. And I don't think she even went to his funeral at the Crystal Cathedral.
Oh my God, really? Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Well, don't forget, she's probably a Hollywood liberal.
Yeah, a liberal. Boy, those words, liberal and conservative, they're sure starting to mean a lot now, aren't they? The way they're
I'm in the gray zone.
It's a gray zone?
Yeah, that's where I'm sitting. I'm right in the gray zone.
Don't
label me.
An alien gray? Are you an EB? A gray zone. You're one of the grays.
We're all going to be gray soon. Come on. All the multiculturalism.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I'm all down with that. 2468. Everybody integrate. That's fantastic. GREATE. I like to.
Yeah, but Rudy, not when the integration is forced on people. It should happen naturally. People want to gravitate naturally. What's going on with the New World Agenda is they want to push millions of people from all over the world, whether they're Chinese, Muslim, white, Hispanic, and just throw them together with no economic or moral or cultural choices. So this is beyond. If you want to integrate, that's pretty,
and allow race.
You know why? It's cultural. You know why, Randy? Because we're trying to model a very natural and organic way that white Europeans integrated with native culture in North America.
The natural way? I thought they killed them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a complicated social. Political agenda.
No, they just kept them warm with blankets that just happened to have smallpox on them.
Yeah, that's okay. So, anyhow, the CIA is to hold the aliens responsible, the ETs, the EBs responsible. Because then if you know Nori and you know Bell, and then you probably know Dr. Greer. From Full Disclosure.
Yeah, he's the lead of the Exposure Project. So
yeah,
he's the lead of the Exposure Project. Yeah. That's right. So is he trying to work himself in to be like the president of the EB Nation or something?
I never trusted him personally.
Because, the way I'm seeing him right now, I think he's psychologically compromised, and that's why Magic don't want nothing to do with him. Because he wants to kiss EB ass.
Seems like he's trying to make some sort of a comeback, right? He's an opportunist, I could say.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think his his presentation is really quite good, but I don't think that his psychology is all that good with the extraterrestrials, because he's calling them like benevolent beings, like we have nothing to fear from them when they're everything
he's
to
setting
fear.
Up Lucifer, right, in the Grand Deception.
Yeah, it all ties
the red
together.
Carpet.
Yeah, it ties together.
Rudy, where do all the aliens hang out? Do you know?
Where do they hang out?
I think they hang out around bases. That's my opinion.
Around bases? Yeah, well, they're around military. A lot of them around military bases, but they're all over the world. If you saw that the Mexican journalist, he's got to be like number 5 on ET Phenomenon. He showed footage of just a clear blue sky, and then he's got his gamma camera on there. And there's it's just full with 1,000 streaks of ships that are flying here, there, everywhere, and they're doing
I've seen a swarm of UFOs before. Dr. Fred Bell told me I was going to see them, and I had a dream about it. And then I actually seen them in Corona, California. Hundreds and hundreds of them. I have pictures I can show you all. And you can zoom in on them. They all have the same aura around them. They're all the typical saucer shapes. But who's to say it's alien?
Well, if it's okay, that's an interesting point. So if that would be like U.S. technology, but when they're doing hundreds and hundreds of them, is that like we got hundreds and hundreds of them in our space force of our Department of Defense?
Let's put it this way: we have these little tiny drones that fit in your hand now that hold like a 3-gram charge of TNT or actually plastic explosive, and they all travel with artificial intelligence in unison as a swarm, and they can bust through cement walls one at a time. Bam, 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 blowing themselves up until there's a hole, and then they'll all rush in. So who's to say these UFOs weren't even drones?
Well, I'm still tending to go back to the aliens been here and the war for Los Angeles in 1940 and Roswell, and it's been going all the way back to Hitler. And I think that they're here.
Hey, repeat that. You broke up for a second there, Rudy.
I said I'm going back to they're here. They've been from Roswell and the what is this the war for Los Angeles and then the ships above the Pentagon in not the Pentagon, the White House in like 1950. And then the fight for Los Angeles, where everyone saw all these spaceships.
Nazi bells,
Los Angeles.
Those are all Nazis.
I mean, I'm hearing all this old stuff, and then Roswell, and then going back to Hitler, and then going back to Antarctica, and supposed to be some bases there.
Right. Not just that. It's well known that even underneath Saddleback Mountain, they have like a submarine manufacturing facility down there.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. And underwater tunnels all the way to Salt Lake City, even. Salt Lake.
Oh, wow.
Submarines can flow through. So the technology that we are kept from, I'm sure it looks alien to a lot of people, but I can affirm to you that nothing comes in or out of this place called Earth.
That's pretty interesting. Well, that's a good strong perspective. What about these people that have been abducted and had hybridized kids, and then the star children that seem to be popping up all over the planet, and they can put blindfolds on them, and they can read books and do colorings with blindfolds on. They seem to have mental telepathy powers.
Oh yeah, I mean they've been doing DNA mixing for a long time, like making chimeras and stuff. You can read it in mythology, which I believe mythology is just real history. It's just the last epoch of our time before we were destroyed and restarted. But, I mean, we read today in the public spectrum that even Russia has, successfully put a human brain connected to a monkey or something like that. It's like, come on, you got to think about this. History repeats itself, and so does technology.
Mm-hmm.
You look at the Egyptian pyramids, right? You have hieroglyphs with cameras on them, with UFOs, with helicopters, with jets, right? So,
yeah, I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
So are you arguing that there is EB life here, and it's being hybridized into man and producing a race of EBs that are mixed between human and Palladian, or human and Anunnaki or Enki's descendants?
Well, it started with the Garden of Eden. There was Adam and Eve was tempted by the serpent, which I believe was Satan, and I believe he showed her sex and had sex with her and impregnated her, and then she came back and talked to Adam and said, look what we can do, this is fun. And they had sex on the same day, and she was impregnated in the same egg by 2 different sperm, and that became Cain and Abel, the first murderer and that of the lineage of God. And that was the crossing of the 33. like the first if you'll call them Anunnaki, I call them fallen angels, but a third of the casted down angels, tempted her, and that's where it all started.
So I'm still miffed though. You're quoting from the Bible, but you're kind of not saying. You're saying that spaceships aren't here. They're not here, and nothing comes in and out of space that we don't know about.
Right.
And yet you're kind of mixing the Anunnaki, which I'm believing now. I'm believing the Sumerians and that they're at least 14,000 years old and maybe 200,000 years old, and then in their scripts, then they're talking about coming here 400,000 years ago from Zeta Reticuli and their Nibiru, and
how do they age these things? That's what I want to know. Because what the book of the Lord says, the Word of God says 6,000 years, pretty much is where we're at, the creation of this earth.
Well, I saw this guy who just wrote this book that, and it's a follow-up to the one he did in 97, where he's talking about the Sphinx, and that the Sphinx is 10,000 years old.
How do they age this
least? And Nori's talking with him about that, and he's had that before, and then they're saying, and we can even push it back further than that. There's, my colleague works in the same area, and he says it's at least 20,000 years old, and
I say it's like 800,000 years old.
Well, then
I say the sun's traveling 66,000 miles per hour, or 600 to 66,000 miles per hour throughout the universe, and we're traveling 66,000 miles around the sun. And yet constellations have never changed throughout history. Imagine that.
Well, that's pretty much fixed.
That's crazy.
But I aged it because I say so. And I can create a formula for you and your children to believe it.
Are we talking about DNA? Are we talking about forensic testing on the walls of the Sphinx and the Sumerian culture over there in Syria, and the dating and the carbon dating of those?
That's what they always bring us back to carbon dating. But there's so many variables. You've got erosion, you've got deluge, you've got all kinds of environmental things that can happen. Carbon dating. What does that even really mean? And carbon is 666. Whenever I see carbon, 6 electrons, 6 neutrons, 6 protons, I see deception. I see the devil. I see, the adversary. I don't see the truth. I see someone trying to throw me off. So when I hear the word carbon dating, I want to see the science and where they're getting this crap from.
Yeah, maybe you need to meet with a geologist or a carbonologist or something. But I'm trying to get your timeline down. Your timeline is 4,000 years. Then is that what we're telling
6,
each other? 6,000.
Yeah.
And that's just I'm at least saying that the cuneiforms on Samaria are 10,000, 12,000, 14 or 16,000. Give me that much.
All right, no, I'll agree with you on that. That could have been a last epoch. I'm saying our epoch now, with the book that we were given in our lifetime, as we were recreated, as our species, a new humanity, whatever created us, God, I assume, the creator, this epoch after the flood, it's been 6,000 years, I believe. Okay,
I'm getting it now. Yeah, so you're saying from this modern, Hebrew version of it, or Egyptian version, from the Sumerian, the Sumerian walls, because we're talking about, 500,000 tablets from that Sumerian time that was all written in clay by scribes with their little chisels, and that was quite a skill that they had, and they sat down with the local merchants and did all of the contracts, and then they wrote the stuff that would be in their libraries and their stories, and then they sat down with the Anunnaki king or queen or Enki or whoever took them under their wing and wanted to tell their history. They've got all those stories. They've got the 7 Bibles of the Anunnaki the 7 chapters. That correlates to what's in the Bible too. We got what? How many chapters do we have there? 3 books?
66 chapters or what? No.
Yeah, 66 chapters. But how many books do they have? How many did they find? Then they found the Dead Sea Scrolls. I mean, the Anunnaki, they got 7 for sure. From the stories of Gideon and Enki, and then their Noah story. They got their own Noah story. They got the Noah story before the Hebrew version got their Noah story. So they probably lifted it. From the Sumerian tablets, just like all other parts of the world have their own stories of Noah. That all seems to be correlated to the same kind of people from the sky came, and then they befriended humans or enslaved humans and turned them into workers to harvest the gold from South Africa and their big old pit mines where they got 1,000 of them and not just one, and they got a big old gold pit there that you could actually fly for a mile in. That's so deep, that's where they're saying the Anunnaki got their gold from, because they need the gold, because the gold's got properties to it that are so fantastic and amazing, it'll blow your mind, and you can just pulverize it down to like 1 atom, and then have a little jar of, you could take 1 earring and pulverize it down to 1 atom, and have a bunch of gold dust. It's just dust at that point. You
keep some youthful.
You could take one atom and drop it in a drink, and that'd be your power drink. And that would make you strong, and that would make you smart, and that would make you powerful and heal all your ills in your body. That kind of idea.
And I'm going to tell everybody the right way to do it. If you want to make some monatomic gold, you don't want to do it chemically with the acids and all that. All right. The real way you want to do it is get yourself a supercapacitor bank and a little oscillator. Like, you can get yourself one of those electric, fly swatters that look like a tennis racket, and take it apart and plug it into your little capacitor bank, and put a voltmeter on it. Make sure you don't overcharge it, and put a tiny piece of strand, a real tiny small gauge of gold across 2 alligator clips, and put a plastic, or cut a little ball in half, one of those bouncy balls that you get out of a quarter machine back in the day when you were a kid. They're hollow. Mm-hmm. Cut it in half, put that over your piece of wire, hit your switch, pop! It's going to throw out like 20 amps all at once. It's going to blow that piece of wire into bits, and it's going to be all coated on the bottom of that half of the ball. And you just scrape it off. And it's as easy as that. You don't want to use chemicals and all that crap. That's all disinformation. I'm sure it works, but it's not good for you.
And what's the consistency of it at that point? Is it powdery?
Oh, yeah. You can do it with copper. You can do it with silver. You can do it with any metal.
I mean, I've seen the stories. I've seen, Dr. Greer talk about the gold and that they would take that it was manna, that's what Moses fed to the people. Manna. It was manna, and it was gold, and that's what made them strong, and that's what allowed them to endure. But they'd sure have to be carrying an awful lot of gold for them to live for 40 years out in the desert. What if I told you
Antarctica was actually a perimeter of the flat Earth? And beyond the perimeter, there were other continents. Oh, boy. Well, all of these fallen angels live in golden palaces, and they fly around in UFOs. All right, and we are in the center, in the cage, in the prison, and they monitor us like prison guards. What if I told you that?
That I find a little difficult to believe. Yeah, I think the Earth is round.
Let me back it up a little more. The 33%, right? That's the head of the Masons, by the way, right? 33 degrees. That's a third. Right. The third of the angels that were kicked out of heaven, they were actually Lucifer and his team, the 33. They were the watchers of the earth. They were actually the gardeners and the watchers. In other words, the prison guards.
Okay. So they then come down here, and then they have sex with earth women, and then they have a population of people that are corrupt.
No, and they defile everything that God created, like Monsanto, GMO, chemtrails, killing things slowly, just destroying everything that is good that God created, because they can't create. They only envy.
Right on.
You guys,
That was
the end of the
good
show.
because they can't create. They only envy. That's beautiful. I mean, that's beautiful. It is.
Thank you, guys. Hey, thanks, Rudy. I want to thank Bruce McDonald, Rectify, and Rudi Krause. This has been an interesting show, and hopefully I will see you next week. If not, maybe somebody to pick up the server. But this has been, Noreen Helphand, Wild at Heart, and I do hope to reconnect you guys again. See you guys soon. Bye-bye.
Yeah, thanks. I like those two guys.
Yeah, you guys.
I like all three of you. Bye.
Radio at freedomslips.com, and we'll be right back after this message.